Let's start with the Democratic side, and we'll start with this broad question. Tiering is complicated, right? Because it's not clear where to cut off the tier. But if there's a top tier, and let me do it this way, broadly defined, be generous, be lenient, be inclusive. Who's in your top tier? It can be anywhere from one to, let's say, five people. Amie,
Gavin Newsom. The end.
alone in tier one.
Alone.
All right, Amie,
Yeah.
just as an addendum to that, because I'll just say a very reasonable answer. Who's in tier two? If Gavin's in tier
Kamala-
one by himself.
I would say Kamala Harris. I would say Wes Moore, possibly Andy Bashir, maybe Pete Buttigieg.
All in tier two.
Yes.
And just to be clear, you don't put AOC in tier two.
No.
Okay. Hyma, who's your tier one? And if your tier one is one person, you're tier two.
No, look. I agree with Amy. I slightly disagree. I would put Gavin Newsom and Kamala Harris both in tier one. And when I put Kamala Harris in tier one, she was the vice president. Two, she already got 75 million American voters, so that has to account for something. And then tier two, I mean JB Pritzker. I'm happy you added him to your prediction. I saw that. I'm really bullish on JB Pritzker, so I put him at the top of tier two. I think because he's a billionaire and because he has things that he didn't have to deal with, other candidates have to deal with. He's the top of that list. But Shapiro and Rahm, Pete, Westmore, Whitmer if she runs, Slotkin if she runs, Andy Bashir, that's all a tier two right now. I don't think there's much of a tier three, but if I had to go there, I would put AOC in tier three.
So you have Newsom and Harris in tier one, and then about eight people in tier two.
Correct.
Got it. Amie, do you even consider Pritzker for tier two?
Maybe just because of the money. But he's not getting a lot of buzz. When I talk to Democrats, they're not
Yeah.
really rallying around him the way they're
Yeah.
rallying around some other people.
You got to talk to Hyma more. Hyma's just constantly browbeating me. And I will say, a lot of very smart Democratic strategists. Part of why Pritzker was off my two people weren't on my original list, the Vice President Harris and Pritzker, and they both moved on for different reasons, but including I'm very easily browbeaten by Hyma. John Podhoretz, your tier one, and if necessary, the two.
So it's boring to say that Gavin Newsom today is obviously at the top of tier one, but
But
what
is
can I
anybody?
do?
But you have
What can I
anybody
do
else?
but be
No, that's
boring?
fine. Is anybody in
But
your
I
tier
do
one by
think that
Newsom?
I do think you have to put AOC in the top tier. I do not understand the calculation that says that a semi-insurgent candidate from the left is not
Yeah,
going to play a huge role
yeah,
in 2028, and it may not be AOC, but
yeah.
it will be some variant
Right.
of AOC, and that person is more likely to win than Newsom. By which
Yeah,
I mean, if a person like that catches fire, we've seen in elections for the last several cycles
yeah,
that you are, I mean, if the Democratic Party hadn't sort of pulled out all the stops to contain Bernie Sanders,
yeah.
he
Hold
would have
on.
been the nominee. So,
We'll get to that point next.
okay,
But just to be clear,
yeah,
your top tier is just Newsom and AOC.
yes, no, or yes,
Yes.
uh, and I want to say who is not in my top tier and who I
Yeah.
think is not in it and should never. JB Pritzker is a ridiculous national candidate figure,
Yeah.
and it is
Yeah.
preposterous for us to
Yeah.
even be. I don't care how
I
rich he
I
is.
I
Bloomberg
hear
spent $1 billion and
just
got
just
American
just
Samoa. Like,
just to be
doesn't
just to
matter.
be
Yeah,
Pritzker and Bashir. Some people say what you say, and I tend to agree with you that those guys don't belong anywhere near a real list. But some people have them very in the top five. So those
I
two
know.
guys in particular are very polarizing in terms of analysis. Cozy Earth right now will give you 40% off everything on the site if you go to cozyearth.com and use the promo code two-way, the bubble cuddle blanket. You would say, well, Mark, surely there's some fine print that says the bubble cuddle blanket's not 40% off. It is. Bubble cuddle blanket, towels, sheets, shirts, and of course all the pants. Everything, 40% off. Go to cozyearth.com, buy some stuff for yourself. Still time to buy stuff for the holidays. Cozyearth.com. Viscose made from bamboo is all very soft, comfortable, affordable with the 40% discount. Again, use my code two-way, cozyearth.com for 40% off. Give the gift of comfort that lasts beyond the holiday, carries into a cozy, cozy new year. Everything's available now. And last I looked on the site, everything's in stock. So again, CozyEarth.com, promo code two-way for 40% off everything on the site. Tell them if they ask you on the little pop-up that you heard about it here on Two-Way.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the Two-Way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.
And don't forget, you can now listen to the morning meeting and Two-Way Tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.